Good morning and thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast. I'm Ibrahim Shita. I'm not the only one in the studio. I'm joined by Kemi Foladiemo. Kemi,
hi Ibrahim, good morning.
How's it going?
Not bad. So. Every reason to be thankful.
But today is Friday,
right.
Really.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. But we'll see what today holds. Actually, it's been a lovely week all along. Absolutely. But then we'll see what today holds. But definitely, we are expecting so many things positive, especially with the issues we'll be looking at today. We'll be talking about stroke management. A lot of people who are affected by it, the causes, treatment and prevention. We'll also be looking at something very, very trending in the news. Talk about Jigawa explosion.
Really unfortunate.
And that of war against insurgency with the federal government deploying satellites and utilizing the satellite to optimally in order to counter terrorism and all of that. But let's get right into the conversation for today. Nigeria's federal government has officially ended fuel and foreign exchange subsidies, a policy that has been debated for a long time. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, made these announcements at the World Bank's Nigeria Development Update presentation in Abuja. According to Mr. Edun, these subsidies have taken a huge toll on Nigeria's economy, costing over 10 trillion naira, which is equivalent to 5% of the country's GDP. This move is part of the government's efforts to restore macroeconomic stability and reduce debt risks. The World Bank has been advocating for Nigeria to eliminate subsidies and implement market-based pricing to address fiscal costs and promote economic growth. The bank's report suggests that Nigeria needs to create wage jobs through macro-fiscal stability growth and private sector development to reduce poverty. Yeah, there you have it. It's always been in the works. We've always talked about it, but now the federal government coming out, 100% saying that we've actually eliminated subsidy, and then the FX. They're talking about the FX policy and all of that. But this is a good one, we would say. At least it's different from when people are saying that it has been removed. They are paying subsidy one way or the other. And then why is it that the price of fuel is still what it was compared to countries that are not paying subsidy? Compared to what countries are not paying subsidy, why is it that ours is still relatively cheap? But we see how it has been hovering from 800, or let's say 600, 700, 800, 1,000, even beyond 1,000. And we see what is happening to the FX, yo-yoing forth and back. We saw 1,500, 1,600, 1,700, thereabouts. So what have you been, how have you been looking
reading, at it? how have I been reading? Well, how have Nigerians,
been accepting this,
adjusted to this, because we have to just still say it now that this is something that is needed. The president wasn't the only one sharing the view about the necessity for the subsidies to be eliminated, looking at how the nation had been bled dry, so to speak. If during the subsidy era, our oil is sold at a cheaper rate, but then humongous amount of this oil is also smuggled to neighboring countries.
That's right.
And sold at the the market rate, the global market rate. So all of this, and so many other people enriching themselves at the expense of the majority of Nigerians. All of this and more gave the fillip now, so to speak, for the president to take this decision, drastic as it may have been, but he has said drastic measures call for drastic moments call for drastic measures, and that is what we are seeing today. So, but what is left now is for stability, for the government to ensure that there is stable. The currency, as you have said, we are still having flip-flops here and there. Even the shocks following the removal of the fuel subsidy too is yet to settle, and that's where we are. Many Nigerians are understandably reeling, because we all know how oil is tied to so many of essentials, basic livelihoods. So what is left is for the government to ensure that all sectors there is considerable stability to make sure that things don't collapse.
Yeah, before now, we've been saying that the government should do something to ensure that Nigeria is a better place. Before now, we were saying remove the fuel subsidy. We're not enjoying the impacts. We're not. It's brewed with corruption. People are just taking monies. They're earning something bigger than what they should be earning, and all of that. And if you remember, the previous candidates before the election were saying that they're going to remove subsidy, but now a lot of people are criticizing the government for removal of the subsidy. That okay, it wasn't removed the way it should be removed. But how best could the government had remove the fuel subsidy? But all the same, according to the government, they said that the subsidies were seen as draining the economy. But they're also looking at, okay, since we're not paying subsidy, there's so many developmental innovations we're bringing on board, the road infrastructure, job creation, and all of that. So Nigerians need to see what the current government is doing to ensure that they have a better life. They breathe, as the president will say, or as the people will say on social media, that Nigerians need to breathe, really. So talk about job creation, talk about palliatives, talk about the CNG, we are talking about the alternative energy, talk about solar power, so many other things.
How adequate, how available are they? The list is on. Of course, Oliver Twist, that we all will always, have a need to ask for more. But then Nigerians, as Veronica, would say, is Nigerians aren't asking for too much. Now, how we can even go beyond, our daily bread, so to speak. That's exactly what Nigerians are on. Look at how fuel, the impact of what we are having now in terms of fuel, having to buy this essential commodity, is still remaining a challenge for many. We hope that the coming days will bring more clarity and more communication too, because I'm also big on communication. If things must be done, as in let people understand, and of course people should also hold government to account. Government should also understand that people are watching them. Our officials, our representatives should understand that people are watching them. And this is not the time for you to behave like, okay, I'm in a place of power, you are where you are, I am where I am. Nothing that you say can get to me.
And if you're saying that we should tighten our belt, austerity measures, let's see that you're also doing that. Let's see that, those in power, whatever it is that you're doing, we can see clearly with our own eyes, before you telling us that we are also cutting costs in, people we put into the appointments, we actually, issue the kind of expenditures we make, the kind of projects we're doing, the kind of, so many things. So Nigerians would definitely see. And then this administration, ably led by the president of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, also not worried about what some ministers are doing, what they're saying, to communicate what the government is doing to the people, because we see or we feel that there is not enough communication as to what they're doing, the plans, talk about the economy, talk about projects. We hear some ministers talking. The Minister of Interior, for instance, we hear him talk often and often. The Minister of Power has been speaking lately. He has actually been speaking from day one, but I think because they are actually critical sectors, so we get to hear some of them talking. Agriculture. But
then the president is not exactly big on those big. He's also ministries. Counting on ministers of not so well
Minister
known.
Of States,
absolutely.
Even the youth, people have been saying, what are you saying to the youth? How are you
solid
engaging?
Minerals, taking the attention away from oil. It shouldn't just be all about oil. We see how the world is navigating. CNG and all of that. We are late to the party, but then again, we need so much more of these options around.
That's right.
So it will not be like we are banking all our hopes on oil. We all know how unpredictable oil and the businesses. Right.
And so whatever it is that they are actually doing, Nigerians actually need to know. Indeed. We need to see that, yes, this is what you say you want to do, this is what you're doing. Because if you look at the analysts or economic experts, they say these policies are good, but it's only going to take time. But of course, no one wants to be patient, just want to see the results, straight on.